If you've spent any time throwing big topwater profiles, you know that a rat lure is not just another lure in the box. It is a lure designed to trigger some of the most aggressive and craziest topwater bites that you can get on any body of water. But if I gotta be honest, these rats can be super expensive and really hard to come by. My name is Jovan with The Real Bass Pursuit, and this here is The Real Report. Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive breakdown on a bait that in my opinion has completely bridged the gap between performance and price tag. I'm talking about the Mischief Go Topwater Rat from SacPig Bait Co. We're going to be looking at the packaging, the artwork. I'm going to break down what comes in this box and tear apart the specs and give you my honest, unfiltered review on how this thing actually worked for me on the water. So let's get into it. Now, first impressions is everything. Whether you're meeting someone or you're seeing a lure for the first time, that first impression is what captures you for that moment. The first impression for this is gonna start right here with this box. Now, SacPig Bait didn't just throw this into a generic plastic bag. The branding and the artwork on this box itself gives you a huge understanding of what's about to come out of this packaging. And it begins to set the expectation high before you even break the seal. Let's open it up and see exactly what you get when you order a Mischief Go Topwater Rat from SacPig Bait Co. Now, aside from the rat itself, SacPig Bait Co also includes 2 interchangeable tails and 2 screw locks so that it's made easy for you to change out those tails without a problem. Now, this is huge because topwater tails can take an absolute beating when you're fishing them over and over and over again. The tail material has a nice solid balance and it's soft enough to give that bait a fluid, lifelike swimming motion. And to top everything off, swapping them out is straightforward. They seat firmly on the back of the rat, so you don't have to worry about losing that tail mid-cast. Now let's talk numbers, mechanics, and hardware. This is where this bait really stands out from that standard mass production topwater. Now, with the rat's body measuring at about 3.5 inches, and then if you add that tail, it shoots up to about 6.5 inches. To me, it's that perfect profile without requiring a crazy specialized heavy swim bait rod setup. And the better part is that it weighs 1.5 ounces, so it can carry that momentum from that cast and cut right through that wind. Now, like I said, this rat is extremely durable, but one of my favorite things about this rat has to be the hook rigging system. SacPig Bait Co equipped this with 360-degree swiveling hook hangers right on the belly of that rat. So let's think about that for a second. When a big bass hammers a big body profile, what they'll tend to do is jump up and try to shake off that lure. A lot of the times, the mass of that lure or the weight of that lure is what helps that bass shake that lure off. The heavier the lure, the easier it is to shake. By allowing those size 4 BKK trebles and that 50-pound mustad split ring to rotate completely free on the body, you eliminate that leverage entirely, which means your hook to land up ratio goes up significantly because now the bait is moving with the fish and not against it. Now let's talk about how it actually behaves on the water and my honest take on it. Now, with this being a one-piece travel rat, unlike those multi-jointed baits, you're not going to be getting that jointed mechanical clack. Instead, it relies on its supernatural body roll and the sound of the hardware. Now, this is where that booty shaker comes into play. Mike from SacPig Bait Co also went and took the liberty of creating a shaker for this rat. This is a small attachment that can be used on the rat once the tail is removed. This little shaker here is filled with mini BBs that create this sound. Now, this thing is perfect because this is something that you can attach when you want that bait to have a little bit more ruckus. Now, on a slow, steady retrieve, it sits right at the surface and it tracks that beautiful hard-thumping V-wake with that tail slithering right behind it. Now, because it's a solid one piece, there's 2 other retrieves that you can do with this lure. The second retrieve I like to do with this lure is walk the dog. It allows that bait to twitch from left to right while staying stationary for the most part. And if you speed up your retrieve and you lower that rod tip, that lip is designed to crank down just below the surface and go into that hunting motion. Now, this is an awesome option when the fish are just tracking the bait, but they're hesitant to break clear of that surface. Now, let's get into the pros and the cons. For the pros, the durability is outstanding. You can cast this lure right into those tight pockets around cypress trees and even those rocky banks. And the best thing is you don't have to worry about cracking that body or even chipping that bill. The 360-degree swiveling hook hangers are an absolute game changer for keeping those bass pinned. And at this price point, sitting around $35 to $45 on the market, makes it highly accessible for a bait with this much detail. Now, if I have to be critical on the cons, the factory hardware is heavy duty, which is great for durability. But the stiffness means you want to ensure that rod tip has enough give to let that fish fully turn with the bait before you set the hook. Additionally, you have to keep in mind that this bait is designed with treble hooks. When I begin to see those thick lily pads and that heavily matted vegetation, I usually put that Mischief Go Topwater Rat away. The bottom line is this: if you're looking to get into technical rat fishing, or you want a durable tournament grade wake bait that you don't have to baby around structure, then the Mischief Go Rat from SacPig Bait Co is a rat that may just fit in your rotation. Once again, my name is Jovan with The Real Bass Pursuit, and this here was The Real Report.